Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for a Technique Tuesday. This is the card that I'm going to do, show a technique right here. What I did was I used a piece of vellum and then stamped in VersaMark and embossed in white, and then we've colored on the back of it, and then it shows through on the front to give this gorgeous color shining through for this fun technique. And so I'll get started and show you exactly how I did it. It is like the lazy person's way of coloring, so I like quick and easy, and I tell people all the time I'm kind of a lazy crafter, and I find easy ways to do things. And so I was not able to do my Make It Monday yesterday because we have been having internet issues again. Another fiber optic line got cut, so that took them a while to restore my internet, and then we lost power during a storm. So anyway, so today I thought I would do an extra special Technique Tuesday and hopefully make up for my Make It Monday. So the stamp set that I actually used 3 different stamp sets, but the first one I used was Enduring Beauty for this stamp set right here, or this stamp right here, because it's an outline stamp. Now I did try to do one using this one, the Spotlight on Nature, and I will show you how that turned out. And it's all right, but there's too much detail in the stamp, because I thought that would be a good enough one for a lined stamp, but it was not. You need an actual lined stamp, nothing with a lot of detail, because in doing that, now this one's kind of pretty, but there's all this white here, and so I did not like the way that turned out. So I decided not to use that stamp, but I did like the butterfly, and so I did go ahead and stamp that for this is my piece for the inside. And so I'm gonna put that other piece to the side. I'll use it for something, I'm sure, but honestly I like the way this one turned out much better, and you'll see as we're going along. And then the Happy Birthday is from the Sweet Scripted, the Happy Birthday. And I did have to go with a piece that's a little bit taller than an ½ inch, but I have already stamped that in VersaMark and then put the white embossing powder on that as well. And so that's already done for us. And then I've already stamped the butterfly for my inside piece, and so I'll move both of those out of the way. I'm going to turn my lighting down because I can tell on the screen that with the LED lights it is starting to roll a little bit, so hold on just one moment. All right, so that helped quite a bit. I don't know if you could see it, but I can see it, and it was driving me kind of crazy. I don't like to watch that. So how you do this technique, and that's what we're here for mainly. So I have this, it's a large imagery. So I'll put that right there with my inside piece here. And so I'm going to bring in my VersaMark. I do have a piece of just scratch paper here in case I go off. And then I brought in my VersaMark here, and I'm just going to ink up the entire stamp. Now, this is a larger stamp, so I'm bringing the ink pad to my stamp instead of the stamp to the ink pad. And I did just re-ink this. And I ordered new embossing powders, and we now carry the Wow embossing powder, and this is the opaque bright white. So I'm kind of liking that. So I want to see where my flowers are at, and I want to position them mainly at the top. Oh, I forgot something. Embossing Buddy. I need to put that on here, because if I don't, and I need both sides, that is key for this. And I'll explain that, because I do not want stray embossing powder sticking to the back, because then that will make it where the alcohol markers, because I colored that with alcohol markers, where they will not show through. All right, so I want to make certain right here in this area, it didn't look like it was as well inked, even though it's a clear ink. It's a an ink for to do like watermarking and things. So I'm going to stamp that about right about there. I want to give it a nice press. Peel that off. I'll set this out of the way. Now that we're finished with that, I'm trying to make certain I don't have any on my hands. Then we'll just cover this with embossing powder. You won't be able to see it even if I brought it up to the camera. It's a clear ink. So I'm just covering it. Bring my jar back in. And put it back in the jar. And where I thought that it wasn't inked, well, it did not do, but that's all right. All right, so I have a few little paint brushes here, little teeny tiny. Get stray pieces off. So I'll set that there. Once you get the embossing powder on it, you are good for a while. You don't have to like rush to finish and get it, in just a few moments. I'm going to put the embossing powder in my trash. Just trying to cover my work surface so that I don't have embossing powder everywhere. And then I have a cutting board, because I have a glass countertop underneath this mat. I don't want to shatter my countertop, and I want this to do well, so I'm going to lay that on aluminum foil on my cutting mat or cutting board, and then I'm going to take and I'll turn my embosser heat gun onto a number 2, and while this is running, if I don't talk, it'll be silent. As I talk, it'll cut in and out. So I'll probably just emboss and go from there. But as I emboss, it will go from a milky white to a brighter white. And as soon as it is all shiny, and it is, then it is finished. All right, so we need it to, whoops, I see a spot that I missed. All right, so now then we need it to cool just a few minutes so that we can then turn it over and start doing our technique on the back. So this is just vellum paper. You could use, I think, some acetate. You could, but I like the vellum. So I have dark flirty flamingo, light peach pie, and then I have dark granny apple green. So what I'm gonna do is start on the back here and color in and try to stay in the lines, but we're on the back side of all the leaves. So if I see a leaf, I want to color it in, and it's probably, you can see it a little bit on screen. You can see like this is a leaf, that's a leaf, leaf up here. So all those. So for certain, we want to color all those in, but we want to stay within our outline that's on the front. If you don't, you can see it through the vellum. Okay, so then we also have some of the little parts of the flower where it goes into the next flower. You need to make certain that you get that. Okay, then now we'll finish the leaves. This is like, I mean, I can cross those lines where if it was on the front, it would stain the embossing powder. But because we're doing this all on the back, as long as I don't go outside the lines, the outline, we are good. So, like I said, a lot of times I'm a lazy crafter. So I try to make, beautiful cards, but do as quick and as reproducible as possible. So I just keep filling this in, and because they're not that large of areas, I don't do a light and a dark. I'm just doing just one color. If you feel the need to do multiples and outline and stuff, go right ahead. But I like to do quick, easy, and reproducible. So I'll flip it over so you can see the other side. And so it's not as bright now that it's on there, but once you put it on white, then it does show a little bit better. So I'll turn it back over. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is this dark flirty flamingo. And I'll keep doing the bullet tips. And so right here, so we're on the back side again. So right here, I'm just going to basically scribble out from the center of that flower. Okay. Like that. And do these smaller flowers. It makes it where they'll blend a little bit better. And then these other ones, just following some of the different parts of the flower, and then kind of following the outline. Just using those markings as, you know, what you would do on a front. Normally, oh, I missed a leaf. So this way you can then, so I'm going to go ahead, because I'll lose that in the imagery if I don't do it right now. So like that. And then you don't have to be precise. That's the funny, fun thing about this technique, and I absolutely love it. All right, so that looks pretty good, and if I need to come back, I can add more. And then I'm going to use our next color, and this is the light peach pie. We're going to blend it. On these, we're blending, but don't go out of the outline. If I get in the green, I don't think it would matter because the green's darker than my peach pies, but try not to. Just keep adding more color, and I'm swirling, trying to blend it out a little bit. Back and pick up that stem there. I mean, this is pretty forgiving. That's what I like about this technique, is that you just keep swirling around, blending it out a little bit, and then when you flip it over, you can look and see if you've got to do anything else to fill it in. But it's, on the back it's kind of messy, but then whenever you put it on, we're going to layer this onto white cardstock. And see, here's another stem I need to fill in. It's when you start filling it all in that you start seeing the rest of it. And you could use any color. You don't have to do the peach pie and the flirty flamingo. You could do purples, you could do blues, you could do whatever colors you want, but I wanted to do these colors. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to turn it over. And the reason why I'm using white is because I'm going to put it on a white base, and see, we have some pretty colors. So I'm going to put a little bit more of the flirty flamingo, give it some more pink. And the centers are a little bit darker than, oh, I missed that peach pie right there. Okay. All right, so now let's take another look at it. So that's a little bit brighter pinks there. All right, so I think that's good enough. And then I'll bring in the rest of it. So for the card base, it's peach pie, and it's 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. I'll fold that in half. And I'm not 100% where my bone folder is at the moment, so I'm going to use my paintbrush here. Just rub that. And the this is the inside piece, and I think this is, oh gosh, it is 4 1/8. by 5 3/8. And then this inside piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and we'll color this in right now, means we have all of our stuff here. And I'm going to do the whole butterfly in the peach pie. This is the lighter of the two shades. And I'm also going to show you how I make it brighter than what it really is right at the moment. Okay, so that's all peach pie. And we're going to take the dark flirty flamingo. And we're going to color in these sections. It's kind of muted because it's, I don't know, it's some, I guess, layering them up. Then if you take Wink of Stella and you kind of brush over it, it makes it more vibrant colors. Same with the body. See all this shimmer there? All right, so this is our card base. This is a layer for our card front, but we are going to layer this onto our piece of white here, just like that. So I'm going to bring in my liquid glue and put it on the corners and just barely along this edge. And on the top. But I'm not going to get in the center. And I want to layer this with the alcohol side down and the emboss side up. I'm going to layer this directly onto my card front, this here white layer. Just like that, and it's, you can see it through, but when we cover it, you won't be able to see that. See, that makes it more vibrant with that piece of white cardstock behind. All right, so then this has been ran through. So this is the stitched or the stylish shapes, and this is the largest stitch circle. And I cut that from the center of our cardstock here. So I think I'm going to do this side this time. And then this, after it was cut, I ran it through the embossing folder to give it that texture. So that's what I used for those. And then I'm going to add glue to the back of this. Whoops. Around. Okay. Clean that glue there up before it gets all over everything. And I'm going to cover over my image. So like that. Pick that up, press it down. And then we're going to add more glue to the back of it. Okay, and we're going to put it on, center it on this piece of black cardstock. And it is just an 1/8 inch larger, and so we will have about a 1/16 border, whoops, all the way around. Like that. Then we'll put dimensionals on the back. I have these black ones. I hardly ever use them, but I'm like, well, I'm using black cardstock, so I'm going to go ahead and try to remember to use them. And these come with large ones, and they come with the minis all in the same pack. That's what I like about that. I wish they did that with the white ones too, but they don't. But maybe one day they will. Pull these all off. Bring in my card front. Make sure it opens the right way. And we are going to layer that here. Make certain we get an even border, because it is the same as what the black border is, just a 1/8 inch bigger, and so there's only a 1/16 of an inch showing, just like that little peak of black there. We're going to take and add these together. So the reason why I call this kind of lazy crafting is you're doing it on the back. You don't have to be precise for when you're coloring on the front. You need to be a little bit more precise. And I just like the look of this. And then you can dress it up, and I'm going to show that here in a moment also. Open this up. I have a few good friends that are having birthdays, and I think these will be for them. So I'm going to put this right here. So that, again, it's the same size as the black piece here and what the white piece was. So that's on the inside, and now we will add our happy birthday. I just had 3 of the black dimensionals on the back of it. And then we're going to just span that across there. Try to make it even, like that. And then these adhesive back dappled dots, and they have been being out of stock, but I'm hoping that they will be back in soon, because I love these. And we'll take the larger pink ones, pick them up, and put them in the centers of those flowers right there. Whoops. So right there. I have another one down here. Put it down here at the bottom. So like that. And then these little peach pie ones, I'm going to put one up here. I'm not pressing them down. Put another one right there. And then I'll put the third one in the middle between the two. And that's how you place the top one, the bottom one, and then you put the third one in the middle. And you make certain they're lined up the way you want, and then you press them down like that. And then to give it more sparkle, do this all the time. So if you haven't figured this one out and you watch my videos, I don't know, I take one of our spritzer bottles. I have this one, and I have this one. This one has water in it, and I put a W on top and put on the cap water, and right here put H2O, so I know this one's just water. So that one I don't want. And I use a bottle of alcohol, and I use Winka Stella. And I screw the cap off. I put a few drops of my Winka Stella in. Then I fill it up the rest of the way with alcohol. And then I get down here in the bottom, it will settle, but see all that shimmer in the, see how all that shimmer? Let's see. Here's the water. See the difference in color? It's because there's all this shimmery stuff in there. This one, it's in the bottom. It's stuck to the bottom. When you shake it up, then it kind of all starts swirling around in there. So I like to take it, shake it up so it gets all mixed up nicely, and then you spritz the front of your card. And then it just adds all this like shimmer. See it on the black here, how it just makes it look like diamonds on there. Just makes it all shimmery. Here's a piece of regular cardstock compared to it shimmering. See the difference? And so I like to do that. And so if you don't want all that on here, you can take a tissue and dab some of it off if you want off the thing, but it dries just shiny and shimmery, and I just think it's gorgeous. I love this card, and I hope that you do too. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you've got any comments for me, I would love to hear what you have to say about it. But I love this technique. I like it because it's, like I said, you can do it quickly. You can add, any colors to the back of it, blend it, and you don't have to be as precise as if when you're coloring on the front of things. And so if you do give this a try, let me know, and share your link to your project so that I can see your creations. So I want to thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate all of you who tune into my Makeup Mondays and my Technique Tuesdays, mystery, stamping on Thursdays, and you have no idea what it means to me. So thank you so much for joining me for another Technique Tuesday, and happy stamping to all of you. Goodbye.